Okay, messages. This is hopefully the last and final personal paranormal. I'm Austin Chambers, and hopefully, like I said, this is the last personal paranormal I'll ever do. And this one's been, I've been wanting to do this for a while, but I had to build up the courage to do this because this experience was intense and it's ongoing. Right now it's August 4th, 2018, 3 o'clock in the morning, the witching hour. And this has been going on almost a year now. Since I started this channel. In fact, one of the very first things I filmed for this channel started this experience. Originally, this channel was supposed to be devoted to comedy, sketches, and, funny interviews and things like that. And the very first show that I had scripted and decided I wanted to do was Spirit Investigators. Spirit Investigators is supposed to be a spoof of ghost hunting shows like Ghost Adventures and Ghost Hunters and things like that. And I don't know, I think for the most part I was successful in making it funny. The very first episode of Spirit Investigators, me and the person that was doing it with me, Caitlin, I decided to film at locations that had legends behind them or could possibly be haunted. The second location was at a place called the Staircase to Heaven. It's in downtown Casper, Wyoming, and it's down this really dark alley. I don't know if it actually is haunted, and I don't know if there actually is anything there, or if something had been attached to me and I gave it power that night, or what happened. But this thing that's been going on started that night. So when me and Caitlin first got to the staircase, it was like 8, 9 o'clock at night. And the staircase is located in an alley that's off of another alley. So, there's the alley that it's in, and there's the main alley. So there's an intersection like that. When we were walking up, there is a light above that intersection. And as we were turning onto the alley and first saw the staircase, that light went off. But everything was fine. I didn't think nothing of it. We got to the top of the staircase, about 4 floors up. And it's creepy looking, but it's cool looking. I didn't have any bad feeling. We did a fake EVP session on the top. And the legend behind the staircase is that a lady threw herself off the top. And she haunts it. So during the fake EVP session, I was asking, at the time, what I thought were funny questions. Like, are you a lady in the streets and a freak in the sheets and things like that. And once again, I don't know if even that caused it, or if for whatever reason I woke something that night. But on the way down, the feeling changed from lighthearted and relaxed to foreboding and dark and actually, slightly scary. And as we're going down these stairs, Caitlin was in front of me. And I swore I heard steps behind us. But I thought maybe it was just an echo, because they're old steel stairs. But then I felt what can only be described as someone breathing on my neck. Like, and it freaked me out. And I think at the same time, Caitlin felt something too, because she like jumped inside her skin. You could see her like twitch. And she started taking off down the stairs. This is almost the exact same time as I started taking off down the stairs. And the entire way down the stairs, I could still hear step sounds behind me. So we get down the stairs, and it just, all I wanted to do was get as far away from the staircase as I could. And as we were leaving, going to the main alleyway, I had looked back, and halfway up the staircase, I could see this dark, thick shadow. It wasn't like a defined figure or an apparition or a ghost or whatever. It was a thick shadow, like in the shape, kind of a person. And I shook it off. Me and Caitlin left. We went and filmed at the rest of the locations of the night. But the rest of the night, I had a craving to go back. All I could think about was going back to that staircase. I needed it. I needed to go back to the staircase. And Caitlin was saying that she was feeling the same thing. So we went and picked her wife up from work. And we told her what happened. And we told her that we wanted to go back and refilm the first episode and ask straight questions. And maybe this feeling would go away. So, as we were walking down the alleyway to get to the alleyway the staircase is in, that street light went off again. And I didn't want to go back up to the top. But I needed to be there. So we started going, me and Caitlin started going back up the staircase, and her wife stayed at the bottom. On the way up, we were going way slower than we did the first time. But I noticed some of the graffiti on the wall, and I just, for some reason, was fascinated by it. Halfway up, I saw, like, the only one that stood out to me, the only one I actually read, and it said help. Now that'll come back into play in a minute. So me and Caitlin get all the way up to the top. I'm filming us walking up this staircase. I don't know if I'm going to put this footage on so you guys can see it. I might. But later on, when we reviewed the footage of me filming us going up, there was my shadow behind Caitlin going up. There was her shadow in front of me going up on the wall. About halfway up, I caught a third shadow going down past us. And it was just split second. Like at the time, I didn't know I caught anything. But I must have felt something, because in the video footage, you could see me just right after that turn around. I turned completely around and filmed behind me for just a split second. But we get all the way to the top, and then things got really weird. There's 3 different memories of however long we were up there, and 3 different recollections of how long we were up there. My recollection is I got to the top, and I had decided to film some just back footage of some of the graffiti. So I, got some graffiti in frame and realized that my camera wasn't recording anymore. I hit record, laughed about it. Haha, my camera wasn't even on. And then started filming Caitlin. Caitlin's recollection is that we went up there and that we had a full conversation on top of the stairs. And then I had turned, started framing some graffiti, laughed, haha, my camera's not even on, and then went back and, just straight filming the episode. Her wife's recollection of it is we got to the top and Caitlin stared off to one side while I just faced the wall. And that we were up there not moving or talking for 5 minutes. And then out of the blue, I said, haha, my camera's not working. And I turned it on, and she could see the light from my camera. And who knows which one is correct. Like, there is definitely a time gap in all our stories, our memories. So we did straightforward EVP questions, and decided to go on the way back, on the way back down. And on the way back down, like, I had this feeling that I needed not to be on those stairs anymore. But for some reason, I needed to find that graffiti that said help. Like, it was a burning thought in my brain. You need to find that specific graffiti that says help. So I was going really slow, trying to find this graffiti. And in my head, I knew exactly where it was. But when I got to where I knew it wasn't there. So we got down to the bottom, and things got even weirder. Because in my memory, that night, that visit, we only went up twice. Caitlin and her wife say that we went up 3 times. Yeah. Apparently, we went back up a second time. And he said I was acting really robotic and weird and strange. And I kept talking about help and needing to find help and needing to find that graffiti. And then we went back down. And then there was a loud hissing noise all around us. I remember the hissing noise. I thought that it happened after the first time we went up. And that's my memory of it. But that's not how they say it happened. I remember just feeling really weird and disoriented. And like I was in a fog. But that yearning to find that help graffiti was still there. So I went up another time. Caitlin went up with me, but only went a quarter of the way up and stopped. I went to where in my head, I knew it was to find this graffiti that said help. And where I remembered it being, there's nothing there. There wasn't even any graffiti where I remembered it being. But as I'm staring around trying to find it, kind of right in front of me, I saw a face. And to this day, I can't describe the face. I can't in my head even remember what it looked like. But there was a face there and it wasn't there before. And I freaked out and ran down the stairs. And we left. And I was like, you know what? Screw this. Let's get out. And then once again, on leaving, I looked back. All 3 of us looked back. And all 3 of us saw a different thing. I can't recollect what both of them said they saw, which was different from each other. But I saw that black mass again. And it just felt like it wanted to hurt me. So I had to get out of there. At that moment, I wanted to get out of there and never go back. We went back to where Caitlin and her wife both worked with my fiance. And, no, we sat in the car actually for a minute before we even left downtown Casper. And I tried to review the footage. And, I had a pretty no phone at the time. And for some reason, the video playback was acting funny. It was weird. And all of us got really scared. Just out of the blue. So I tried to shut my camera off. And it wouldn't shut off. It was replaying 5 seconds of that same video. Just over and over and over. Just glitching. So we got out of there to go back to where they worked with my fiance, and then it just stopped and my phone shut off. I don't have an explanation for it. I don't know how or why that happened. So we went back and we picked my fiance up from work and we told her what happened. And we told her, like every detail of it. And I went to go show her the video footage and, like not knowing I had caught anything yet. We didn't discover that until the next day. But as I'm doing that, I noticed that there was some night vision camera pictures taken. I didn't remember taking any that night. And so we went through them. Something just struck me as odd about them. But I didn't really look at them that closely. It was just really odd that there was pictures taken that I didn't take. I didn't take them, especially the angle that they would have been on the top, but not all the way up. Like you would have been still on the staircase, taking pictures at the top. And then there was pictures facing at the very top all the way down. It was weird and it kind of freaked me out. And once again, that yearning to go back to the staircase came back. It filled me. I couldn't think of anything else. So we did. We went back. And that feeling of dread and foreboding was worse. It was so thick that it made me nauseous to my stomach. And it gave me a pounding headache. And this time I didn't make it all the way to the top of the stairs. No one did. All of us tried, and we didn't make it past a quarter of the way up before we got this feeling that if we got up to the top, something was going to hurt us. So after trying a few times, we decided to leave. And as we're trying to leave this alleyway, that feeling in my gut got worse, and I started puking everywhere. And it just freaked me out. So we decided to all go home, and I made a promise to my fiance that I wouldn't go back. When I got home, I was taking my shirt off, and my fiance was standing behind me, and she started freaking out, and she turned on our bedroom light, and started just looking all on my back, and she said that there were scratches forming on my back, which freaked us out because we know what that means. Like there wasn't scratches there before, and the more she looked, the more scratches started to form. So, it freaked me out. And I'm like, I'm never going back to the staircase again. And I went back and I looked at the footage, and that's when I discovered the shadow. And that's when also looking at the night vision cameras, there's one picture in particular. And I said, I don't know if I'm going to put it on because this footage and these pictures scare me. Where it looks like there's a figure crouched down wearing a hoodie on the outside of the banister of the staircase on the very top. Where there's nowhere you could be standing or crouched or anything. It looks like there's something there, and it freaks me out every time I look at it. So, after that, 2 days later, me and Caitlin decided to film a different video. A joke, like a possessed doll video. And during the video, I took a fall, messed around with the doll we were using. I fell flat on my back. I didn't fall on anything. There was nothing underneath me. It was flat on, a rug. But when I landed, my shoulder really hurt. I got up and I lifted up my shirt. I'm like, is there something on my back? And Caitlin and my daughter Brandlin both saw cuts on my back. I'm like, well, that's fucking weird. I'm going to have to cut that. So, they said that's weird. When my fiance got home from work that night, I showed her. I was like, will you look at these cuts on my back? They say I have. I haven't hit anything. I haven't scratched myself. So I took my shirt off, and she's looking, and she started freaking out. She took a picture, showed me. And oddly enough, we can't find the picture. I believe I sent it to a couple people, so I'll try to find it and have it on the video, maybe. But the cuts on my back were in the shape of an S with two little off-center parenthesis things, like a symbol. There was a clear and defined symbol gouged in my back, enough to make me bleed and scab up. So that freaked me out. After that, things have just happened randomly, and sometimes it'll happen in spurts. So I'll try to recount some of these things because they're too numerous to recount in one sitting. One night there was a bunch of us hanging out in the living room. My daughter was taking a shower, and in the hallway, I heard her scream. My daughter scream in her voice, scream like a painful scream, and I freaked out. I'm like, what's going on? What's happening? Well, she heard it too, and she freaked out, and it wasn't her. She was in the shower. Where I heard it was in our hallway. That's weird. Okay. Things would tip over, and they still do from time to time. A flashlight that I had just bought turned up missing. Like, it was gone for about a month before we found it in a place we had looked several times for it. Person that used to stay with us down in the basement says that my 5-year-old daughter was wandering around down in the basement one night and just acting really weird, wouldn't turn on the lights, and would use the bathroom downstairs. Now, my 5-year-old daughter is scared crapless of the dark and of the basement and of being down there by herself. It wasn't her. She was asleep in her bed. Just random things like that. I would see dark figures out of the corner of my eyes. You know, it would freak me out. I would hear footsteps. Everyone else would hear and experience things. My son started, every once in a while, he'll wake up with scratches all over his body. That same flashlight that turned up missing, right before it turned up missing, I had used it one night when I was filming a Spirit Investigators episode with Caitlin's wife. Now, she has epilepsy. And there is a strobe function on the flashlight, but you have to click it twice more, and then twice more to get to the strobe effect. Well, we're out filming in the middle of the night at this dark bridge, and every single time that I pointed the flashlight anywhere near her, it would automatically go into the strobe effect, and it would drop her. But if I pointed anywhere else, nothing. I smacked it, I waved it around, I threw it up and down, it wouldn't leave normal. Unless I pointed at her, then it would go into strobe. After that, the flashlight disappeared for a little bit. Some headphones I had hanging on our coffee table came off. The little stand I had them on came off and landed on the table. We bought my daughter a little frog that you press a button, it dances and sings. And that thing is this close to being burnt in the barbecue pit outside and thrown away because it'll randomly turn on with no one around it. And after it happened a couple of times, I got tired of it and I moved it and hid it in our hall closet on the top. It somehow made it out of there and back into her room and then went off again. So I moved it downstairs into our basement, and it would move a couple more times after that. A book flew off a bookcase and landed on me, and it didn't fall off, it flew off because it went 2.5 feet off of where it should have been if it had just fallen. Hit me in the shoulder. It just random things, they keep happening. And at this point, I'm not even scared of it. Like, I'm not scared of whatever it is. I'm angry at it. And maybe that's what it's going for. But if that's what it's going for, it's succeeded. I had downloaded a Spirit Box app on my phone. You know, it'll sweep through channels really, really quickly. So it doesn't stay on any one channel long enough to even pick anything up. Just static. And every time I've turned it on, we've caught something. Every single time. Usually nothing clear and defined, but the few times we have caught something clear and defined, it has told me it wanted me, that it wanted to harm me, and it was angry at me. So things like that. Like, I went out and bought Santeria candles. I light it, say a prayer when things get too intense, and it stops for a minute. Or I'll talk crap to whatever it is, and it'll stop for a minute. But it's not stopping altogether. It's not getting any less. So, hopefully it goes away, though. Hopefully it'll just burn out its energy or get bored with me or whatever. But it, so far, has not shown any signs of being tired of messing with me. So who knows? Maybe I'll have to do another one of these personal paranormals. Until then,